go into the part where you get some accountability about yourself. Okay, I always say accountability is so sexy. When we get that accountability and we say, you know what, we grab ourselves by the collar. Look, you gotta start doing right? You punch yourself in the stomach, knock yourself out, stand yourself up, knock yourself out again. That's always a beautiful thing. So let's talk about you and when you had to get tough with yourself and get gangster with your health.
Right. And I've been trying to get gangsta with my health since, like I said, about 13 is when it really started. But of course, it's like I said, without the tools, you don't get anywhere. So from there, after the mouth wiring, I went from that to the Jenny Craig's, the Jenny Craig's, what is the other one?
Weight Watchers, right?
Weight Watchers. I did both of those. I did the little curved gym, where you're doing the little circuits,
Yes.
Yes. I done joined every gym there was in the process. And it was just about sticking to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, I didn't have the tools as a kid. If you don't have the tools, I don't give a dang on who, if somebody give you something.
Let me ask you, when you say you didn't have the tools as a child, what tools do you think you were missing as a child that you didn't have?
The like someone showing me how to eat right. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, you have to work out, but outside of working out, that's just a small piece. The workout is a very small piece about, it's really what you put in your mouth and the things that you eat. And I just didn't have that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I would start off and I would, you think healthy at the time. It was just salads. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This chicken breast, stuff like that. And it wasn't fun food. You know what I mean? I'm a teenager growing up. It's like you go to parties, no one's eating that stuff.
Right.
So you're eating what you're around and what's available. A lot of times the salads wasn't available too, especially back then. So as I got older, I started to get more conscious about my health when I think about my 20s, early 20s. I invested in a NordicTrack treadmill, and it set up for about a few weeks, and I didn't do anything with it. And I was all like, okay, you just spent over $1,000 on this treadmill. You know what I'm saying? This is between you and yourself at this point. What you gonna do? You know what I'm saying?
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. You was going hard.
Yes. I started to work out twice a day. I started to eat healthy. I just learned myself on what to do. I started to research. I started to be accountable for myself, and how I made myself accountable for myself. I would journal. I would journal everything I ate. Like literally whatever I put in my mouth, I would journal. And this is when I would say honestly, the most productive with weight loss is the journaling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it does keep.
Let me say this real quick. I will say the same thing. Like as far as like when I was going through my when I got out of the hospital, as far as like my heart situation, that was one thing that really helped me as well. I wrote down everything I put in my mouth. I will write it down, and you can definitely see the difference to where when your numbers is working right, it's because you're eating right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's fucked up is because you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Right.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. And so when that happened, I would start, like I said, I would work out before I went to work. I would work out when I got home. I was a smoker, a marijuana smoker, blunt smoker, whatever. But I would make it a point that would be my treat. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I was like, because you can get lazy, especially working a long shift or whatever. I was like, I wouldn't touch it until I got on that treadmill and finished, took a shower, and that would be my my little treat. So I worked for that, get on that treadmill, bust it twice a day. And I started seeing results, and I didn't even see it. Everybody around me would see the results, like, dang, you losing weight. Like, dang, your pants are getting big. You need a new wardrobe. Like, and I lost a lot of weight the natural way. Like, you know what I mean? Just by eating different and working out. Now what happened was a few years later, I ended up having a child. I gained that weight and some. I was at my largest weight after I had my daughter. I'm only 5'1.5". I was almost 300 pounds. I was 281 pounds, literally at birth, giving birth. And it's so crazy that I'm talking freely because I would never say things like, you know what I'm saying, throw numbers out there or anything.
Hey, but you know what? This is what I tell people. Like the transparency in your story, that's
Uh-huh.
what people love. You know what I mean?
Right,
People
right.
like the real. You know what I mean? People when you always up, that's just not real. You know what I
It's
mean?
not.
People,
It's
people
not.
like to hear that you are an everyday person just like them, right?
Right.
So you look. There's somebody out there right now that's you was 281. Somebody right now is 381. You know, and don't think that they can do it. Somebody is 181 and don't think that they can do it. So when you're transparent like that, it's beautiful. You know, you really help people out, and I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So from that, I was I wasn't like unhealthy in my pregnancy, but like I said, the weight gain, and I wasn't able to lose the weight. Literally, after I had my daughter, I lost 15 pounds. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And I ate different. You know what I mean? I'm a new mom. Tried to, tried to lose the weight. It wasn't working. And then on my leg, I had this. My right leg would swell up periodically. You know, and I would say it would hinder me from working out a little bit, but
Right.
just the fact that at that point I needed to do something. You know what I mean? Because I was the biggest I would ever been, and I'm not that tall. Just I needed to make some changes. So I did some research and I went into looking at the gastric surgeries. Um, I ended up doing a class for like 6 months, so it wasn't a hurry up situation. I had to complete a class in order to get the surgery through my insurance. So I did a 6 month class, completed it, and then I was able to get the lap band.
Right.
And was my mental state was I needed help
Okay.
because I wasn't able to get it done. And I had, like I said, to me, I was so far off. Like I needed a booster.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my mental state. I don't suggest people to do that. And I'm serious.
Right.
I suggest you to do everything in your mental possibility without doing anything
Right.
surgically. And the reason being is because with that surgery, I did lose weight. Got down under 100 pounds. Excuse me, under 200 pounds. I was like 180 um, at my lowest with the lap band, and I got really sick. My band had slipped a few times, where the point where I couldn't even swallow. They had to do it like an emergency surgery to take it out. And when that happened, I was so afraid about gaining the weight. Me and the doctor discussed that if it wasn't really bad scar tissue, that while he was inside, he would do the sleeve. So I would have another surgery, while during the removal, if I wasn't scarred. So I didn't know until I woke up that I was fine, but I had another surgery. So I woke up to a new procedure.
Mm-hmm.
And so this time it was the gastric sleeve where they cut half of your stomach, and my stomach is like this big,
Wow.
and the other part is just hanging in there. So they didn't remove anything. They didn't reroute any organs or anything. They just like
Right.
stitched it, So it leaves the big part around, and then the other pieces that's connected to my, esophagus and all that stuff is just right
Right.
there. And with that one, I was fine. I followed through what I was supposed to. I um lost a little bit more weight, but the weight went back fluctuated after years. You not eating right, whatever you did would
Mm-hmm.
eventually reverse itself if you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And so started back eating bad, but not as much because I could never eat as much. You know what I mean? So it might just be like 2 or 3 bites, but I'm eating 2 or 3 bites of BS. So therefore, whatever I'm eating is sticking to me. Now it might be, like I said, a quarter of what you're eating or somebody else, but I wasn't losing the weight. Now that my body did a weird chemistry thing where didn't matter how much like how little I ate, it was still the weight wasn't going.
Right.
It wasn't going either way.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and sometimes I would actually gain a little. You know what I mean? So I started approaching, I guess my later years, started approaching 40, and I just started thinking about my health differently, to be honest.